Hey Beans, long time no see. I am truly excited to share with you this very special coffee break. I have some news that I would love to share with my supporters and those of you who have been following me, my work, and what I do here on Coffee Break. Now, before I start, it wouldn't be coffee break unless I had a coffee joke for you. So here we go. What do you call it when you steal someone's coffee? Mugging. Hey, I find it funny. Welcome to Coffee Break.
This is how your day should get started. A little bit of coffee never hurt nobody. Take a sip, we're reaching for the stars. Happy days, this is where it starts. Just a little coffee, coffee. Just a little coffee. Ooh, just a little coffee, coffee. Just a little coffee. Ooh, before you go, just take a sip, sip. Sip before you go, just take a sip, sip, sip before you go, just take a sip, sip, sip before you go, just take a sip, sip, sip before you go.
Okay, guys, so before I jump into the topic today, which is a little heavy, I wanted to just share with you my coffee mug. So here we go. I really love it because it's simple and it just says happy. And that really is the motto of life right now. So a lot has been happening in my world, and I really wanted to take the time just to talk about it. So if you see, the topic of today's show is F cancer. Yeah. So on January 1st of this year, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. What a way to start the new year, right? It was something that was difficult, of course, naturally, for me to really swallow. And I thought that it was going to be something that I dealt with in private, something that, I battled. I was going to, take time off from my businesses, shut down my social media, and fight this battle in private, and then prayerfully, resurface when I ring my bell, my cancer-free bell. That was my original thought process. With the exception of those very close to me, my really close tribe, I did not share it with anyone. I was able to postpone a lot of my business work and kind of set it up so that I would have some space, some absence rather. So I was able to do that. I was able to give myself the space that I needed. And I really started to think about what this journey was about to be like. And over those few weeks, I started to really think. I've been really open about so much of my life. The good times and, the bad times. I've shared, my successes. I've cried, with you guys. I've just really tried to be open. And I didn't feel like I wanted to hide this part of me, especially after doing a lot of thinking and a lot of soul searching and talking to other women in my circle who, who have gone through this, and just understanding that sometimes as women, we don't talk about these things, you know? It's so important to just be transparent, because we never know, as you guys know, this is my saying, we never know who is going to heal from, be inspired by, be touched by, grow from our stories as women. And I know that this battle for me is scary as hell. Like, guys, I am scared. I am not afraid to admit that I am terrified. Cancer is my absolute worst nightmare. If anyone asks me, like, what is something that you fear? And it has always consistently been cancer. And that has been from a child, watching my aunt, who I loved so much, you know, battle breast cancer and pass away from it. And I knew as a child that it was something that I didn't want to have, you know? So now to understand that it's a part of my journey is really scary as hell, you know? And the past couple of weeks have been filled with so much uncertainty, all the waiting, and just not really knowing what's happening. I've been to the doctor more in the last 4 weeks than I have in my entire life. I have been stuck, you know, with needles. I've had to have multiple biopsies, you know, and I was so scared, and I still am scared, but I do know that I have the strength needed to fight this. So yeah, guys, I am about to embark on this journey to beat cancer. And that is exactly what I intend to do. So I have surgery scheduled for next week. Then I'll have radiation, and I will have about 20 weeks of chemo. And I had to get some genetic testing done, and depending on the results of that genetic testing will determine if I need to have any other surgeries. But I'm prepared and I am determined to allow myself the space to be scared and emotional and cry, but also to remain inspired and happy and determined. I'm not gonna stop living. I'm terrified of chemo, guys. Terrified of chemo. I'm telling you, like, I'm already contemplating just cutting my hair. Even though I know there's a chance I might not lose my hair, I'm just thinking of the things that I can do for myself, you know, the things that I need to do for me to stay up. And one of those things is doing Coffee Break. I had an entire season 2 with a brand new producer planned for Coffee Break. I mean, we expanded the whole platform. My producer is amazing, but I can't do any of that right now. So I had to adjust and say, okay, so we're going to go back to my original format of Coffee Break, because to me, the thought of not working is one of the scariest things. This is what I do. I work, I create, even seeing how my body is changing and how things have been affecting me lately. I haven't been able to execute at the level that I'm used to executing at. And so I got to make adjustments in my life, and I have to be gentle with myself, but I also have to make sure that I stay positive and I stay up. I am so grateful for my tribe. I had a really close friend today tell me that I have a massive supportive tribe. And it made me take a look at what I was complaining about, because, I'm talking to my friend and I'm just like, I thought I would, if I ever had to go through this battle, that I would be in a relationship and I would go through this with, my significant other, and we would fight this together, and that's not the case. I'm single. I'm not in a relationship, and I lay in my bed at night alone, But she reminded me, she said, your tribe is massive. You have so much love and support. And that is so true. That is so true. Like, your circle is so valuable. And my circle, just over the past couple of weeks, they have really helped to get me in line, my bestie she gives a lot of tough love, and she was just like what? Like, what are you so freaked out about? Like, get in there, fight this cancer, and let's get on. Let's get on with life. And she checked me. She checked my emotions. And from that moment, I had a complete shift, because prior to that, I was like, oh my goodness, I'm afraid of chemo. I don't want to go through this. It's going to be so hard. Like, I was really emotional. And after that conversation, she said, are you going to focus on living? She said, I'm not going to be a part of this talk about what if you don't make it. She said, focus on living. That's what you got to do. And that's what I did. And my whole thought process changed. Then I had another friend who was doing a live about the magic of faith. And I don't usually listen to her lives, but something told me to log on, and I did. And I had another shift, because I realized I was not having faith. And I'm someone who is always talking about faith in my relationship with God and all of this stuff. And in the moment where I was most scared, I started to abandon my thought process, and it shifted, and I shifted, and everything changed after that. I could go on and on about my circle, from people taking me grocery shopping to sending me messages and prayers every day. And guys, this is a small group of people, because I kept it so private. And I'm just so grateful, because of them, I am able to face this battle, and I'm able to talk about it. So I'm truly grateful. Now, I said I was not going to cry, so I'm not going to cry. No tears, but it really makes me emotional. So I'm going to take you guys along with me on this journey, and not just documenting this process of kicking cancer's butt, but also about just how to stay positive when you're going through something, how to maintain working and your quality of life, and just how to push through. I think that's the bigger thing. Whether your obstacle is cancer, or a divorce, or move, or the death of a family member, we all have those obstacles, and how do we push past it? How do we get through it? And and how can we do that together? So that's what this season of Coffee Break is going to be all about. And I just want to share my journey. So yeah. I think one of the hardest things for me to deal with, see if I want to talk about this. I think one of the hardest things for me to kind of come to terms with is that after I, go through chemo, I will not be able to get pregnant, have a baby, And those of you that, really know me, you know that it has been just a dream of mine to have another child, to be pregnant, to carry another baby. And one I've been working towards for, the last 5-6 years, with some attempts and some fails. But I had already really thought about, if I was going to do it, this was the year. And so to be told by my doctor that, I will probably not be able to after treatment, it's really hard for me to handle. That option being taken away and just all that stuff. So that's some things that I'm kind of working through and kind of dealing with right now. Yeah. If you are a survivor, if you are a cancer survivor, please reach out to me. I would love to hear your journey, your story. I would love your wisdom. I would love your experience. I would love to just not feel so alone. Like, I know there's tons of support groups, and, I'm going to be going to them with a really good friend of mine, but I would love to hear your personal stories, and ladies, if you have not gotten a mammogram, go get one. One of the things that my doctor kept saying, and one of the reasons why my cancer it was a cause for an alarm, was because of my age. He was saying that, traditionally I'm on the younger spectrum to get breast cancer, and so we really needed to check to see if it was hereditary. We really needed to take some precautions. I have been getting mammograms since my early 30s, because I told you it's like my fear, and so I was kind of obsessed with it. But let me tell you, can I tell you guys a story real quick? Let me tell you something. So I told you I had been getting mammograms since my early 30s, and it had been about 3 to 4 years since I got my last one, which, for someone who got them, so often previously, because I had some cysts and stuff. So I was on watch, basically. So the doctors, I was supposed to go and get a mammogram frequently, which I did. So I didn't go for about 3 or 4 years. Life happened. If you guys follow me, I have been through just a lot of transition in my personal life. And I didn't. This summer, I had a dream. In my dream, I was told to get a mammogram. And I woke up and I was like, okay, when I get back to Atlanta, I was heading to Atlanta in a couple of weeks. I'm going to go to my doctor and I'm going to make sure I get a mammogram. Well, I got to Atlanta and I didn't do it that time. I don't know. I was working. I was doing something. And I went back home to Jersey and I had another dream. Okay. And God always speaks to me in my dreams, but I had another dream, and it said, go get a mammogram. I woke up. I did a self-check. I do self-checks all the time. And I felt a mass. And that was the first time I felt that mass. And I couldn't believe it. And so I instantly called the doctor. It's all about like waiting and timing. And the earliest appointment I could get was like 3 to 4 weeks out. So I went, I got that, they felt it, and they sent me right away for a mammogram. They showed up on a mammogram. I had to get an ultrasound, a biopsy, all leading to January 2nd. Now, I already feel like I waited a while, because there was a worry about it spreading and its growth, and the type of cancer that I have is aggressive. So, even from the second until now, 20 days, a little over 20 days, it had changed, it had grown. So what if I would have never went? What? I would have a different testimony, you know? I would have a different testimony. So please, ladies, check. Listen to your intuition. Do self-checks. Do not be afraid. Your health is so important. And that's one of the things I'm really going to focus on. Black women and our health. And talking about it and just being really transparent about what that journey is like. So I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful that I listened. I'm so grateful that, you know, I have the type of relationship with God that, you know, we communicate and that, you know, I listen. I'm so grateful. So that's it for today's coffee break. Thank you so much for your love, your support. Hey, even your hates. If you hate me, thank you for that. I'm just so appreciative for this journey. I am determined to remain happy and positive and focused. And I'm just really excited about the future. I'm scared, guys. Don't get me wrong. I'm really scared, but I know that I will get through this. So thank you once again for joining me on this coffee break. I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.